Right. What makes us to go for the successful? Today we are going to talk about certain good practices, right? In a work culture, generally, what is that we talk about is work culture is nothing but common beliefs and some good practices that makes the culture, and that makes us to give the successful kind of things in a work environment. There are certain good practices that we need to go through so that success becomes easy task. The route to the success happens at the workplace, right? What are all those good practices? That's what we're going to discuss now. I'm going to tell you about the 5 practices that makes us successful at the work. That's the most important thing that we need to take care of. Summarized all the things together and I kept it as a 5 practices. What are all those 5 practices? First one is getting the expectations clarity, because without having any expectations clearly, we don't know what the success means. It becomes clueless for us. So once we know the expectations of the certain levels and all, then we can attain for it, we can strive for it, and we can work towards those things, and success becomes a easy thing. That's a logical, right? It's a very, very fundamentally, it is a logical kind of thing. The second practice comes to set up the weekly goals, right? Of course, knowing about the expectations is a fine, but to attain that particular reaching out to the expectations, and we need to have something to strive for. Some benchmarks must be there, some goals that needs to be kept, some objectives, some milestones, like such kind of things we need to take care of it. And setting up of the weekly goals makes a lot of sense towards that. We will discuss about these practices in detail also. The third practice can be always be result oriented. Most of the people will do only task oriented, right? People are so much succumbed to the task oriented. No, you need to be result oriented. It's a perspective. It is the way that we look at the things and the way that we conduct ourselves, right? So it needs to be result oriented. Then success will come to you. Otherwise, you will be completely into operational part of it, and you're not. By the time you look back and proceed further, if you want to look back such kind of things, by the time result seems to be too far still, right? Whenever you're task oriented, if you are result oriented, you know that every step, whatever that you are taking, is towards the result. Having such kind of a mindset is very important, right? And give and take the feedback. This is the most important and fundamental aspect that we need to see to be successful. Most of the cases, what happens is we never venture for these kind of things. We do work, we do task, we do go with the activities part of it. We are very much focused towards those things, but we never care about the feedback part of it. You need to give as well as you need to take. Both the things must be there. And so, we have seen so many people got successful at the work because of their very good, exceptional communicators, very great communicators they have, right? So these are all the 5 practices that we need to go through, right? You may ask me, 5 practices are very good, but what is that we need to do to practice these things? Most of the people have asked me. There's a fundamental question which people are asking me since a long time, right? So in this, just a second. Right. So in this, whatever the practices that we are talking about it, many people have asked us, can you please elaborate? Can you please go through a little down layers of it? Can you help us in terms of practicing these things? How to be result oriented? How to set up the weekly goals? How to get the expectations clarity means? How to give and take the feedback part of it? Can you please elaborate and to go deeper into these particular practices and all? Yes, I liked it. So that's where we have framed certain things. Each of these practices, what are all the activities or the action items that are there? Right after this, for all the participants, I would like to share a document to you, whatever that we have seen. I'll send across the PDF to you so that you can refer back also after this. Okay, let's see. Each and every practice we discuss about that. Practice number 1. Are you getting my screen? You're able to see this? Can anybody confirm me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Get the expectations clarity. All right. So as I initially given that, getting the clarity towards the expectations is a fundamental thing to be successful. Without knowing that what is that is expected out of us, right? We cannot act towards that. Can I request all of you to mute your mics, please? Mahesh, thank you. So what do I mean by getting the expectations clarity? All right. First of all, what we need to do is we need to understand the job description and the scope of the work. This must be known very clearly. Like, what is my perimeter within which that I need to work? Because I cannot do the entire organization's work. I can do to the limited extent of my own scope of the work, whatever is being assigned to me. I must know those perimeters. I must know the boundaries of it. I must know what exactly is expected out of that. Right? So that's why knowing about the scope, knowing about the work, the JD, job description, or the area within which I need to work for. That's a fundamental activity. It's an action thing. Okay. Identify more significant and high priority tasks. Right. You have taken all the works, but there are certain significant and high priority because success comes from them only. By doing those things. If you are ignoring those high priority tasks, but you are busy in doing certain other activities, and forget about the success. Success doesn't come to you. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to have the high priority tasks. You need to identify them. More significant and high priority tasks that you need to know, so that you need to work on them. Okay. So that is what comes under this particular thing. And not only just knowing the tasks are high priority part of it, why you are doing it, the why factor which you need to look into it, right? Because why tells you, why creates a purpose for you. Why I'm doing this, why I'm preparing this particular report, why I'm getting into this particular activity, or the communication which I'm making to the person, what is that I'm expecting out of that? Right? Why this is very the factor of the why will tell you the purpose of that particular activity. Okay, so then you have a certain reason why I have to do this. That makes you to give your best. That's where the success comes to. So understand that why factor. Okay, so that is the third part. Fourth one is know that the performance standard or benchmark are acceptable limits. Okay, what is the performance benchmark or a standard in which I need to perform? Depends on my level, depends on my experience, depends on my qualification, depends on my abilities. I need to reach to a certain quality. Right? So those standards that we need to see. Generally, these are all the aspects that can be like your measures, basically. Right? Performance measures kind of things. What is that? It could be like a quantity, quality, time, cost, different parameters will be there. So based on that, if you get to know that what is that people are expecting from me, at what level that I need to give it to. Ram is having some, say suppose some 6 to 7 years of experience, and he is having a MBA kind of a thing. So that he is working in a HR part. Then what is the kind of level of efficiency that you are supposed to show it up based on your level, right? Job level, right? That standard that you must be knowing about that, and you need to work at that particular level. You should not give any lame excuses. You should not say that no, those people haven't given it to me, so that's why I didn't do that. These are all lame excuses. It can be done by a trainee, or those excuses can be given by a lower level people of it. But you are experienced and you are having certain expectations are there, certain efficiency is there with you, some kind of an experience that you are carrying with that. So you need to perform up to that level. So the acceptable limits, that is called minimum threshold. Performance standard or benchmark is a level at which you need to work towards that. That's where when you perform to that extent, then you are meeting the expectations of it. Success becomes inevitable for you. Know about those performance standards. That is what is important. Okay. and know how it will be measured. How do the people will look at it? Know from your manager also, boss, how do you measure my performance? Then in each and every task, when you are getting it, when you are delivering or discharging such kind of an activity, if you know that how your performance will be, or benchmark will be measured, what terms? I already told you about the quantity, about the quality, about the time, about the cost, right? Just give me a second. Just give me a second. What is the quantity? That means it is one of the measured kind of things. What is the quality at which I would like to measure this? Within what time that you are supposed to complete this particular activity, the expectation from the times part of it. And sometimes it is related to the cost also, right? Cost, most of the times cost might come, might not come. Whenever it comes, you need to count these things. These are all the 4 different measures through which they would like to, you need to know how this can be measured. What is the quantity that you are expecting from me? What is the quality that you are expecting from me? Within what time frame you want me to do this, and within what cost that we need to complete this particular thing. All right, so these are all the measures that can be taken care of it, right? Know about them. Then when you are falling short of the quantity or the quality or the time part of it or the cost part of it, then you can understand the success. Next time onwards, what you can do, you can improve yourself to the next levels. So you'll get to the clarity, you'll get it completely. That's the objective that we need to get. That this is one of the best, the first practice that you need to say is, if you want to be successful at work, you need to know about the expectations very clearly. Check with yourself, with your within your work environments, whether you are clear with your expectations or not. If you don't know what is that is expected out of you, you don't know that, you need to know, get them right. Quantity and quality are the positive aspects which needs to be improved. Time and cost need to be reduced, right? These two are the upward, these two are the downward, right? So like that. Maybe any other measurements, if you are there as per the job role, probably you can also look into that. Fine. So this is about the first. Initially, you try to understand success at work at your level. At personally, you try to attribute and relate yourself towards that, and then these practices needs to be transferred to your employees. If you can provide such kind of things right from the induction itself, they may be successful, because we are inviting into our work, workforce family, in a organization's family, stating that please do come, we'll make sure that you will be successful. That is the promise that we are giving. It is not it might not be outwardly, it might not be expressed, but it is eventually that is what is the unspoken kind of a thing. Making the other person successful is a success for the company, right? It is not that we would like to see to that the people, let them perform whatever the level that they are. If they are not performing, let them sack. No, we would like to facilitate and help you to be successful within our work environments. That is what we would like to look into. Then percolating or training the people on these things and making all these factors very clear to them, then they'll also be successful. So this good things needs to go and needs to create a vibrancy within the organizations. Not only individual, not only the teams, entire organization gets successful. Getting success at work is a philosophy. Getting a success at the work is a culture that you are building, right? So that is what we need to do. Let's get into the practice number 2. Nikhil, can you please Lavanya, can you please mute his mic, please? Thank you.
Sorry, sir.
No problem, no problem. The second practice, out of 5 practices, the second practice is set weekly goals. Generally, what happens is the goals, whatever that we take, I mean, is a yearly kind of thing. So just goals will be defined. Most of the organizations' goals also will not be defined. Uh, at least in a such an environment where the goals are defined, the goals will be there and they'll be there only, right? In the performance appraisal sheets or maybe in somewhere else, the goals will be defined and they'll be kept somewhere. But they are not at a regularly, it is not at a visible kind of a thing. And those are all set for the monthly or maybe quarterly or maybe yearly kind of things, right? But it is always better to take a weekly goals. Chunk your monthly goals into 4 parts of weekly goals into it, and let's be objective. Why the week? Week is a wonderful unit of time, right? One day is a very small time, right? Sometimes in a day's goals, we might not be able to achieve that because of ad hoc, because of unforeseen, because of a lot of other activities that comes. Suddenly some work exigency will come. So we may not be able to achieve the day goals. 1 month goal is a too long actually, right? So many things that will happen within that, and we are whether we are going with that particular thing or not, it becomes a aspect for it. So week is a wonderful unit of time where we can fix the goals into it and we can easily review them. If Monday we have missed and Tuesday also we missed, we have still 4 more days to actually to take care of it. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday also, or maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there are 3 days actually to put back into the track and what is the important activities that are there. So we can do those things. So that's where it is obvious. Sometimes, the people might miss on Monday and Tuesday kind of things and all. They'll get a good amount of time. So that's why week gives a right perspective for the review, right perspective for the work part of it, execution of those things. So that's where fix the weekly goals and keep it at your desk and be very objective. Talk about the quantity, quality, time, cost, whatever the things are there. Be objective, and objective means numbers, measurable, measurability. Okay, so that's what we need to take. What is that you need to do? You need to write them down. I have made my weekly goals and how long that you can keep it without forgetting them. So it is always suggested the best of the organization development OD experts, HR experts, and many of the success at the work, the people, leadership coaches, and other people will say that write them down. Keep it in perspective, keep it in writing, keep it at your visibility distance actually. Right? Once you have written those goals, the goals part of it, prioritize them. How the priority will be taken? How to do the priority? The priority will be taken based on the consequences of doing or not doing. If you are doing that particular task or that particular activity, the consequence of that particular, by doing that activity is giving you the positive results and there is a significant impact is there. Consequence is nothing but the impact of it, right? So what happens? By doing it or not by doing it, appropriately. So based on that, priority will get set. It's not that because boss has asked, because Ram thought about it, because somebody client is pressurizing us on those things and that, because it is pending from long time, it is coming into that. No, priority will not get set based on those far distant factors. Priority need to be taken based on the consequence of doing or not doing it. It is not because of the individuals are pressurizing it. It is the activity, the result which is coming into that, based on which you need to take a decision, based on which you need to prioritize them. Then what happens is the timely, right time completion of the activities will happen. Success is obviously attaining the goals, right? Success is nothing but attaining the goals. The goals will get attained automatically. So prioritize them as per the consequences or whatever it is, right? And schedule them. You can schedule it. Which day, what kind of a things, what goals that we would like to take care of it. So schedule those priorities. Don't prioritize your schedules at all. I mean, I need to know blah, blah, blah kind of things. Don't do it, because what happens is that time frame, time is a very, very tricky perspective. As I told you, because it has been long pending, or somebody is asking me and sitting before me, so that's where I need to do that. So it's not like that. Your priority need to get set based on the consequences of it, and you need to schedule them accordingly, and you need to stick to that. Then things will happen in a smoother way, and first things first will get completed. Otherwise, it gets dilly-dally. It gets mixed up. And you are left with whatever the things that you are supposed to do, those priorities will get back, but you are occupied and very busy with non-priority things because those things are pressurizing you. A telephone is ringing, right? Telephone, the conversation, whatever that you are expecting, maybe the dialogue might not be so important for you. The other person, whatever the conversation, the topic they are going to talk about might not be that great. But phone is ringing means it's alarming. It's kind of a thing that you need to pick up the phone. That's how a lot of things will make you more, what I can say, skewed, or a different kind of a perspective will come. So utilize the time and see to that the priorities need to be given in a right way. Schedule it. Once you have scheduled it, whatever the leftover times are there, you can allocate them. Otherwise, you are getting into your set of activities. I realized today itself, I have done my personal experience. I have chunked it down with the times. Whenever the time is, I mean, between 4 and 5, I would like to do this. Exactly at 4 o'clock, I have started. I forgot about the phone and everything and all. I kept it silent, and I kept myself very aloof from the distractions, whatever that is. 4 to 5, I have nothing to do. I'm not thinking about my past. I'm not thinking about my future. I'm not thinking about anything else. The topic with which I have taken, I'm studying about that particular thing itself. So that gives you, come what may, but I can complete that particular thing in that particular aspect of it. That's how you have to complete your activities that makes you to go to the success, towards the success. So in between 4 and 5, if you allow somebody, will knock the door, will get into it, will peep into it, will talk something else, right? If you are allowing those things and all, your work get distracted, and again getting yourself aligned to the work with the thought process and the activity kind of things and all, it takes humongous time for you to come back and to set forth into the track and to complete that particular work at a quality what is expected out of you. That becomes a problem. So as you are growing in the organization, you need to make yourself aloof to the things actually. So you'll do less number of activities, but you'll do impactful activities. You'll not do a hell lot of other works, but you'll do very important aspects, but very depthful activities that you do. That's how your priorities and goals that needs to be set forth, and we need to work towards that. Okay. And create an action plan around each goal. Of course, goal is there, but most of the times again, we'll fall into the ambiguity, and we'll get into a fuzzy situation where we don't know what to do. So action plan gives you a direction. Action plan, once you have fixed it, there is a goal. This is how, in this direction that I would like to go. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Whatever the action plan that you put it across to, and each one of them you'll go further. You need not think about the goal again and again, and thinking about the goal and overwhelming about it and exciting getting those things and all. Need not think about the goal again and again. It is the action time. Once you have set forth it, period. That's it. Once you are satisfied, once you have taken all the care towards while fixing the weekly goal and all, once it is done, period. Fix your calendar for that particular week part of it and all. Just do it. Do it, nothing else. Just to do it. That action plan will guide you towards that. While creating the action plan and all, you think about that. ये पहले करूं, ये बाद में करूं, when I have to do all these things and all, you think about that when you are fixing the action plan. Once you have fixed the action plan and all, just get into the action. That's it. Don't do anything else, right? So that's about the practice number 2. Let's talk about the practice number 3. Always be result oriented. Most of the times, what is that we do? We'll be very much a task oriented. We are not getting into the result oriented part. Right? Let's get into the result oriented always, because we get succumbed and we get so much busy in tasks, completing the tasks itself. No, the viewpoint is, it's not about that. You have to keep the result in the mind, right? You need to be result oriented. Otherwise, excuses will come up with that. I have given my best, but still it is not happening. So those things doesn't make you successful. Okay, so when you are result oriented, what is the best step that I can take? What is the, without any excuse, what is that I can do for that? How can I improve this particular task in a different way? What is the next level of one step ahead kind of things? What is that I can do? So all these things will lead you to the result. That is nothing but the achieving the success. right? How to be result oriented? Fix in your mind. Your work need to speak, not you, right? The work, whatever that you are doing, it needs to come forward and it needs to talk about that. The result orientation, the impact, whatever that you are creating and the value creation, whatever you have done, those things needs to speak in the work environment. Not that you utter the words and all, you try to convince this is what I have done and all these things. Of course you can do that, but your work need to speak first. If you are keeping that in your mind and making it as your work philosophy, you will give your best, right or not? The excuses will go down, right? Nobody will get a, I mean, the orientation of the work or the approach towards the work will completely change. I need to give best of the result. Right now, I'm discussing about a particular HR meet that I'm hosting right now. I'm more result oriented, so my work need to speak. The kind of work, the kind of whatever that I have prepared, the presentation or whatever it is, right? The work need to speak, not the aspects of it. Keep up your word and promise. To be successful, to be result oriented, you need to keep up always whatever the promise that you give it to people. Come what may. I'm telling you, this is one of the best one activity. If you ask me how to get success in life or in the work or any kind of an environment where you are, professional, wherever in life, any part of any sphere of your life, within your circles, family, wherever, whatever the circle that you take. Only one practice, if you make it as a part of your life, it is one thing is keep up your word. I strongly believe in that. While giving the word itself, you think 300 times, 1,000 times more. But once you have given the word, fix it up. You have to do it, come what may. That gives you a wonderful, the image towards that and the confidence that you get also. Right? And you will be very much disciplined and you would like to see to that it needs to be kept up. So it's a wonderful practice. And keeping the orientation in terms of my work need to speak, not me, not nothing else. Okay, so that is a very important thing. And don't overpromise and underdeliver. Of course, in continuation or extension to that particular practice, don't overpromise and underdeliver. Overwhelmingly, people will say that, yeah, I'll do it. What's there? Big deal of it. I'll do it. But without thinking, without understanding, without we balance the things under, we promise and we couldn't deliver within the time. We may not be able to deliver within the time and all. The kind of trust factor, whatever that we are taking, will go down. When the trust factor comes down, number of times that you have given the promise, but you have delivered, under-delivered, then people don't, trust you. People don't trust your words. If they don't trust your words and all, it takes a long time for you to prove again that you are on the track and you are able to do that. You need to have a number of iterations, and then only people will start believing in you again. Right? Check with yourself. Most of the people will fail because of this kind of an attitude. Okay. Another activity, another action item. Always think about the value or impact you are creating. It might be like an extension to the first sentence. Your work need to speak. Right? So the impact which you are creating, you must be knowing about that. What is that I'm going to give it to? Because your expectations are very clear. You have already fixed the goals for that and you are working towards those things. Don't you know what is the impact you are going to create? Whether it is giving the positive results, neutral results, or a negative results, or whatever it is. Be very much sure of those things. Then you will get the confidence. The way that you approach towards the work, that makes a tremendous difference. Excuses will go off and you are very much excited to the value that whatever that you are going to create and the impact it is going to give in the work environment is a fantastic thing. Maybe it might be very small or a subtle thing, but it is creating a wonderful impact. You'll get motivated because of that. Then be on time every day. This is the most important practice that we need to be whenever we want to be the result oriented. Be on time every time. Whether you are coming to the class, whether you are coming to the HR meets, right now, whether you are going to have the online meetings or going to office or to meet any kind of deadlines and all, follow that. That gives you, as a person, one way the guilt will not get created. Second thing is confidence will be given to the other people, and it is kind of a discipline that you are maintaining that empowers you. All right, empowers you to go to the result orientation. Sometimes you might not be able to achieve the results and all, but we need to be very much bold in terms of saying that yes, I couldn't reach it. I acknowledge that. Next time onwards, I'll make it out. But be on time. Don't hide behind certain things. All right. So you need to have a lot of guts, and that kind of an attitude and the courage gives you and makes you more successful. Then it will not allow you to over promise, under deliver kind of a thing. And whatever the promise that you give it to, you'll come on time kind of a thing. And your work will speak, and the value, whatever that you are creating. These are all comes under the result orientation. This is the third practice. The fourth one is write down the outputs and the results, whatever that you have achieved. Okay. So why you have to write down the output and the results that you achieved? Because the chronology or the log or the journal that you are going to maintain, that gives you where sometimes you have to check for yourself. It is not to prove to somebody else. Proving to somebody else at the time of conflict or at the time of difference of opinions or something comes is a secondary. The first thing is you yourself can analyze and can see to that how much that I expected, how much that I have achieved those things. That makes you to improve yourself, because a result orientation is an attitude. It's a continuous attitude within, right? Inside out. That approach gives you much better results to you. So that's where you have to write down all the outputs and the results, whatever that you have achieved. Sometimes it might be useful for you to make it like a report kind of a thing. Your manager might not be noting those things or not, but at the time you can help with them. These are all the dates, these are all the timings at which I attended these kind of things or activities, and I achieved these things. I completed these things. Oh, very good, excellent. People might not remember them. It's a good practice actually to take it. And one more very important thing is count what you are good at and what you need to improve. I told you, you can visualize, or you can review yourself. That is the extension. The E point is extension to the D point. Count what you are good at. What are your strengths? What are your improvement areas? Then your result orientation is a constant improvement activity. It goes with. Then success at the work becomes inevitable. Right? We are not so focused towards these things. So that's where we are little aloof from the success at the work. Right? We may not be called as failures, but success is yet to come. The fourth practice is give and take feedback. Right? Both give and take. Be constructive while giving the feedback. You will have teams, or you have certain people, and where you have to comment about, where you have to talk about. It need not be a formal feedback part of it. Ram, how is this? Even that is also need to be is an asking about a feedback kind of thing. Be constructive. Make it a practice within yourself. It's a wonderful practice actually to give a constructive feedback. Need to be bold, need to be transparent, but not to offend anybody, or not to get, not to scold anybody, or not to make the other person feel bad about it. And be constructive, right? What can be improved and what can be given that without hurting the people. The feedback can be given in a very best way. It need not be subtle. It can be transparent, but it can be constructive as well. Whenever you are taking feedback, right, on what you have worked and what didn't work from your authority, from your boss, or from super boss or immediate boss, or any other seniors that you are taking, take the feedback. Or with the clients, or with any other suppliers, vendors, or any other peer group, or any other any kind of a work group or individuals or whatever it is. Take the feedback on what you have worked, what worked, what didn't work. So that gives you, it's not the perspective with which you are seeing it. It is the perspective from a different angle that is coming to you. That is helpful for you to, for your growth, for your success part of it. Be confident about what is worked out, and what didn't work out also you can take it up. Right? Be open-minded to receive the feedback and act on it. You need to act on it. Right? Be open-minded. Why? Because people will say, what didn't work out? No, whatever the color combinations that you have taken is not good. No, that is the ambience, that whatever that you have set forth is not that great. Or the kind of work that you have given it is not that aspect of it. Maybe probably you can take up these kind of things. That feedback is, you need to be open-minded. What is that you can say? I have a lot of experience. I have done so much of the things. How much? How do you know how many hours of that? Even we thought long back for all these things. No, don't run all such kind of rackets. And don't throw those rackets against to other people. And be open-minded. Receive the feedback. Receive the feedback. You know that. That's okay. Let them say one more time. Don't react towards that. Already मैं तो सोच चुका हूँ उसके बारे में. I already thought about it. What is the great thing that you are talking about it? It's not about whether you know it or not, but it is one more time that you are getting that, yes, that point is need to be worked upon. You need to act on it. Right? You need not, again, you need to bring the work to speak, not you. Okay? Don't defend yourself. Don't try to defend yourself. You'll not be appreciated. Don't try to fight with the people who has given the feedback to you. Take it. Right? Be bold. Receive it. It is not the time to react, because those reactions doesn't prove you that you are so great, Superman kind of a thing. But your work need to talk about it. Or a period of time, people will accept. Then afterwards, whatever the way that you make it out, people will take it. Whatever the color combination that you take after a certain period of time, people will accept it. Oh, this is also a color combination, we can use it. Fantastic. People will accept you. All right. So that's the stage that we need to reach to it. So give and take feedback is a wonderful practice. And be a great communicator. Being a HR or being an employee in a workplace also, we need to be the great communicators. And especially in the HR fraternity or in the people management side of it, we need to be the exceptional communicators. There's no other go for that, because everything revolves around the communication. Whatever you do, you think about it, you're doing communication itself. Either you're writing an email, you're speaking to somebody else, you're listening to something, or you're reading something. Reading, writing, listening, speaking. Anything that you talk about it is a communication. Whatever the work that you are doing, either of the four things that you are doing, that means you are communicating. When entire your task or the process itself is a communication, you need to be an exception. You need to be the great communicator. Then success will automatically comes to you. Right? That is some of the activities. Be optimistic in your communication. Don't spread a negative or any rumors. The hearsay will be there. You know what happened, So all these things are there. Please don't talk about them. No negatives, no rumors. We should not spread. Anything that is coming to us, we'll listen and we'll keep it, because people will automatically bring some out of their excitement or out of whatever it is, especially in the workplace. You should not spread that without checking anything. Even then, why you have to rumor, why you have to pass it on, why you have to make it a spread kind of a thing? If you can act on it, act on it. Talk to the people, talk to the people. Make it to the senior officials. You need to bring it up. Bring it up to the notice kind of things. Whatever the action that you are supposed to do, you do it, but don't spread. Though it is a positive thing, though it is a correct thing, though it is a reality or a fact or whatever it is, don't spread. There's no point in it. Then you will not be a good communicator. Then speak to the extent necessary. Jitna ho sake utna tak ke liye baat kar. Don't talk anything extra towards it. That will not make you a great communicator. Talk to the point. Whatever that you would like to talk, you talk to the at least 50% of the words you try to communicate with that. Don't try to communicate with the long sentences, number of times, beating around the bush. Doesn't make any sense. You will not become a great communicator. To be the great communicator, you need to use whatever generally that you will use. You try to communicate the same thing with the half of the words. Okay, then the practice will come to you. to become a great communicator, right? Silence speaks a lot. Okay, right. Be cooperative with other team members. Absolutely, because in an organization set, it is a structure, social structure. Organization is also a social structure. Now, in that social structure, winning or success at the work will come with the cooperation with other team members. You need to be the team player. In silo, you cannot do anything, right? So that's why you need to be cooperative with them, whatever that you have to do. Ask the questions, then assuming. Don't assume with your experiences. Don't assume with your past conditions. Don't assume with your hearsay. Don't assume with others, whatever that you have seen. So within your known realm itself, you will try to assume certain things. Rather, you ask the questions. Try to have a practice of asking the questions. What is this? How is this? And all. Then you will not get into the assuming part of it. Then the reality will come to you. The facts or the data will come to you. The exact thing will come to your notice to that. Don't assume, never assume. Ask the questions, right? So listen to the people very carefully, because people are trying to talk to you and they want to communicate something to you. Listening is also a communication, right or not? The best that you can listen to, the great that you can speak, because listening gives you a lot of access to the mindsets and the perceptions of the other people, and then accordingly that you can communicate, then you will become a great communicator, right? Listening is very important. Then comes ask for the help and offer help, both sides, right? You ask for the help because I told you it is like a social structure, and you offer help also, so mutual. It doesn't work in only one way. Most of the people will ask for the help whenever they are supposed to help, and people will say that no, mujhe wo kaam hai, ye kaam hai, I have a lot of work, So people will try to escape out of those things, and then you will not become a great communicator. Next time onwards, nobody will help you, even though you ask for that. So you need to do both, ask and offer, right? And don't talk about the personal problems at the work. This is a very, very important thing. People will try to gain the sympathy. You know what happened? Actually, COVID has come to my relatives, in-laws, and all. I was so busy. Don't talk about all those things. Don't talk at all. Your personal problem. Everybody are having a personal problems, right? So at workplace, especially, you don't talk about any kind of a personal problem unless until it is a context, unless until it is inevitable, or some degree of inquiry or some kind of a help the other persons are making it out, or you may get into it. But by yourself, don't bring any kind of a personal problems, making it as an excuse and try to gain sympathy and try to escape out of the work and why things were not happened. Why? Because don't use this your personal problems as a cue to that, then automatically successful company, right? So these are all the 5 factors or the 5 practices that we are supposed to do so that success at the work will come to us. Great, right?